So, Ronald Reagan saw the IRCA, the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, as the end all for the situation going on at the border, that it was supposed to be the keystone and to remove the incentive of illegal immigrants coming into this country. And as we all know, from 1986 till now, it has not solved the problem. It's exacerbated the problem because it's incentivized more and more illegals to come to this country in the hopes that we'll push in another amnesty bill. And we've been seeing it for the longest time, how they've been saying, amnesty, we require amnesty, we require that you make us citizens. And of course the Democrats back then were on board, so were the Republicans. It was bilateral legislation, and they're trying to push that on us today, saying it's bilateral as well. But is it going to really solve the problem? As we can see throughout history from 1986 till today, it has not at all solved the problem. It's just made it worse. California had turned blue, and it continued to stay blue until what we have today, where it's never going to turn red again. And they want to do the same thing to Texas. Let's be real. They've been having their eyeballs on Texas for a long time. Now let's go over some of the points of the IRCA and what it was supposed to do. Amnesty and legislation, right? This provided a pathway to legal permanent residence for illegal individuals residing in the U.S. continuously since January 1st of 1982. Now, how do you actually prove that they've been here since 1982? That's also a big issue, right? Employer sanctions made it illegal to knowingly hire or refer unauthorized immigrants for work, introducing civil and criminal penalties for employers. Now, we all seen how that's gone. They have not ever gone after employers. If they really wanted to solve the immigration crisis, they would go after employers. They would find them, they would jail them for knowingly hiring illegal aliens, but they have never done that, and we've seen it. They just punish the illegal immigrant. I-9 form requirement mandated that the employers verify the identity and employment eligibility of all new employees using the I-9 form, and increased enforcement, boosted resources for Border Patrol and enforcement agencies. Now, none of these things have come to fruition to solve the problem at all. And as we see, again, we're at another tipping point where they're calling for another amnesty bill. Now, is another amnesty bill going to solve the problem? You can tell it's not, because we can go back to 1986. Did it solve the problem? No. All it's going to do is incentivize more and more people to come in, and eventually, 20 years down the road, they're going to push for another amnesty bill. That's what their plan is. It's not like a secret. We all know what the plan is, to bring a bunch of third world people into this country, have the Democrats push their narrative that they're the ones that gave them citizenship and amnesty and everything else. And then they're going to say, you got to vote for us now because you owe us. We're the ones that gave you citizenship to this great country, even though they dog on it all the time and talk about how horrible it is. But that's what's going to happen. Now, we're going to watch a video of Chuck Schumer explaining to Joe Scarborough how this is going to solve the problem. And if we do this, we're going to have tighter restrictions on the border. Yeah, we've heard that before. And that's going to get rid of the incentive to for future illegal immigrants to come into this country. Heard that one before. And it's just the same playbook over and over and over until they get what they want and they get full power.
Immigration deal look like between Republicans and Democrats in the Senate?
Well, we had a good model in 2013, as you may remember, bipartisan. John McCain and I headed the Gang of Eight. We had 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, including Marco Rubio, who's now gone to the other side on this. But we could come up with a bill like that. It toughens up the border. It gives a path to citizenship, a long, tough path to citizenship for 11 million people who are here. It allows high-tech people who are needed in our industries to come in. But it was a bill that got 70 votes in the Senate, or 68 or 69. It got Democrats and Republicans. That's the way to go.
Now, he sells this thing as a good thing, as everybody's on board with this. Yeah, how about the American people? Now, they just did a study in 2024 before the election, and I think it was in the high 70s to 80% of people said that we need to deport these illegal immigrants, that they had no right to stay here. And let's go ahead into some of the research that we have. Now, illegal immigration population grew a lot since the IRCA of 1986. Pew has summarized it as 3.5 million people had come in illegally in 1990, 8.6 million by 2000, then 12 million peak by 2007. Now, that's a long time ago. CRS chart book, unauthorized population rose from 3.2 million in 1986 to 12.4 million in 2007. That comes from the University of Maryland School of Law. Pew's new estimate, 14 million in 2023, record high. That was under Biden. This has not cured the problems that we had since 1986. And we all know this new amnesty bill ain't going to do anything different. Now, it says border apprehensions stayed very high through the IRCA era. CRS apprehensions peaked 1.7 in 1986, rose again to about 1.68 million in 2000, then fell later, according to the University of Maryland School of Law. Now, the National Academy summary, apprehensions reached a peak around 2000 at almost 1.8 million. The legal population expanded dramatically from 1986 to the 2000s, and border activity apprehensions returned to very high levels. And we've seen little fallouts here and there, but we haven't seen that any of this amnesty bill we had in 1986 do what it said it was going to do. Are we naive enough to believe that this new amnesty bill is going to be any different? It's going to be the exact same thing. People are going to see more incentive to come to the U.S. because they're going to know the Democrats are going to be pushing for more and more amnesty. They're not going to stop at 11 million. And if you think they're going to stop at 11 million, you're fooling yourself. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some of the direct quotes. Reagan, one of his quotes while signing this in 1986 said, "The employer sanctions program is the keystone. It will remove the incentive for illegal immigration." Yeah. Reagan also said, very soon, many of these men and women will be able to step into the sunlight. I understand why. I get it where you would want amnesty for these people, right? Because these companies take advantage of them and pay them slave wages, and I get that part. But it's not helping by just saying, hey, guys, we're going to keep giving amnesty to these people that are coming illegally. You don't incentivize bad behavior. You punish it. And that's what we need to do. Reagan remarks the ceremony, humanely regain control of our borders. Now, he did these remarks during the signing ceremony. And we did not regain any kind of power over our borders because we continue to see more and more people coming in. Now, let's go ahead and see some of the liberal viewpoints of this. Yes, they do admit January 12, 2010, the American Immigration Council, that it did dip after 1986 for a very short time. It says decline in the first years after, but unauthorized migration picked up again. Team pieces explain why. IRCA failed to create flexible channels for future immigration, so unauthorized migration rose with labor demand. And that's it right there, right? Failed to create flexible channels. We haven't made it easy enough for people to come in legally. How easy do we need to make it? They're never satisfied. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. You give them a little bit, they're going to take the whole thing. They're never going to be satisfied. They're always going to say it's not easy enough. I don't know how easy we need to make it. It needs to be a hard process. We need to know everything about you. We need to make sure that you can financially take care of yourself. And we need to know that you're coming in for the right reasons and you're going to come in as an American citizen and have loyalty to this country. We don't need to make it any easier. And they continue to say we need to make it easier. At what point is it just enough and say, you know what, maybe we should work on ourselves and maybe we should promote more and more people having kids and have families and teach that instead of just saying, hey, don't worry about kids, have abortions, don't have families, don't stay for your kids, kill the kids, sacrifice your firstborns and your second and third, as many as you can, right? Get a free punch card. And we'll just bring in third world slave labor to do all the things that you don't want to do. Now, these are some of the liberal takes on how the IRCA was a good thing. This quote comes from Ted Kennedy, Senator Ted Kennedy, about the 1986 deal. "We will secure the borders henceforth. We will never again bring forth another amnesty bill like this." That was a lie. Some of the conservative restriction critiques came out of the Heritage Foundation. The 1986 bill did not solve our illegal problem. We all see that. Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican, April 2nd, 2013. "We provided amnesty overnight in 1986 and didn't fulfill the other parts of the equation." That is 100% correct. One of the things that makes me the most mad, and Republicans do this as well, if you really wanted to solve immigration, you would punish these people. You would punish the people hiring them. You would punish everybody involved, and you would get rid of the immigration problem overnight. Also, you wouldn't incentivize more and more people coming in here by giving them free things and having anchor babies and everything else. Using the 14th Amendment in a bastardized way, when we all know it's to get African-American citizenship, to have them have legal status so they could have the rights as everybody else, and then eventually they could start voting. But they used it against us and said, no, anybody born here, no matter if you're legal or illegal, you'll just get citizenship automatically. That's been very, very detrimental to our country, and I'm sure the Founding Fathers would have been laughing that anybody even interpreted it that way. Those are some of the things that have been said throughout the years, and we continue to be down the same path of what do we do next? What do we do next? It's very simple. And Trump, if you really want to solve this problem, punish the people that are employing these illegal immigrants, find them to an oblivion so they will never do that again. Once they have nowhere to go, nowhere to work, they will eventually self-deport. Now, Trump is offering $2,600 for them to self-deport. That is a very generous deal. I don't know what else people can ask for. And a lot of people don't even know Trump offered this. All you got to do is self-deport, and you could use that $2,600 to come in the right way. But a lot of people don't know this, and a lot of illegals are just saying, we're not going to go back. Now, let's be real about the situation. The Reagan administration got duped by the Democrats. They thought this was going to solve the problem, but it didn't. Nobody has a right to stay in this country unless you're an American citizen. And that's what we got to do going forward. We got to stop this amnesty bill because it's not going to lead to anywhere. It's just going to lead to more and more incentive for other people to come in the hopes that we're going to do this over and over again, because we keep repeating the same mistakes and we keep saying, I didn't know this was going to happen. And Democrats know this. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share with your friends. We hope to grow this channel more and more. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you very soon. You have a good one. Peace.